Welcome, everybody, to the Social Dig, the greatest underrated show on the World Wide Web. I am your host, Mr. Rob G. And as always, we're going to be digging into the topics that keep you talking and the talk that keeps you thinking. So come on in, kick your feet up, get an ice cold beverage, get ready to join the conversation as we go ahead and get live right here on the Social Dig. We are back in the building. We're back in effect. We're back. Nobody can stop us. Nobody can stop this momentum. This is what we do, and we are back in the building. Not a lot going on in ufology, though. That's crazy. I'm going to go ahead and look out there and just see who's come in. This is kind of done at the last minute. We haven't done a show for probably about at least a month now. So I know everybody's wondering what's going on. Where's the show? Where's the Social Dig? Social Dig is right here. We had to take some time because you got to do that sometime. In this field, is amazing as this moment is, you definitely still have to decompress, kick back, reformulate, strategize, come back, and that's what we're doing. Let me go ahead and say what's up to Operation Shutdown. I do see you out there. Do appreciate you showing on up. Also, Magneticus Attractus, and we will wait and see who else we get up in here. Flat 6 in the building. Appreciate you showing up, Flat 6. Also, Frankie B in the building. Kitty Catty Whack. Kitty Catty Whack's in the building. Thanks for coming on in. Mr. Tim James. Yes, sir. Mr. Rob G back in the saddle. I'm going to bring that up because it's very important to know. Rob G back in the saddle. Glad to see you. Evening, everyone. Appreciate everybody coming on in tonight. It's going to be a quick one. I'm not going to be here for long. Not going to be saying too much, but I definitely want to make sure we got a Social Dig off the ground as well. Super Crazy Movie Geek. Thanks for coming on in. Appreciate you showing up, as well as Polly Rodderman. Thank you so much for coming on in, guys. You guys are always awesome. Thanks for the love and support here. Let me go ahead and bring up our graphic for the day. Let me bring up our graphic for the day here. Right here. Definitely want to thank everybody for coming on in. And as well, we have the phone number. 856-843-3444. That's 856-THE-DIG. Make sure you lock that in your phone. Please, you can call me anytime. It's a 24-hour line. If you're outside the United States, dial 001-856-843-3444. Or that's 001-856-THE-DIG. Make sure you save it. It's kind of cool sometimes just to call and say hi, right? We're all human beings. You can call and say hi sometimes. It's okay. It definitely is. Like I said, we're not going to be here for too long today. I just want to make sure I came in and talked to everybody and see your faces virtually, if that's even a thing. If that's even a thing, as we get ready to jump right on into the show. This is the first time I've done the Social Dig show under this new format, so I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, and we're going to pray that everything goes well here tonight as we get ready to get into the show. Yeah, lots of things going on in ufology at the same time. Not a lot at all, right? So it's like, what's really going on? There are some highlights, though, that I definitely want to get into. I won't get into all that tonight, because what we're doing tonight, I saw a video online, and it was with the Tim Pool podcast. Regardless of politics or how you feel about the guy, that's not my concern. It was a great interview, though. I was actually surprised. Don't align with the political views of that channel. However, when it comes to the phenomena, politics are out the door. Regardless how you feel about a political party, I got to tell you that, it just shows that everyone deep down inside is a human being at the end of the day. So it gives me hope, right? Because when you can put politics aside and you can sit down and have the humanity conversation, the real conversation, the one that matters, then you can see past political differences, and you can see some of yourself in a lot of pretty much everybody out there. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't know if you've ever taken a moment to do that, but put all religious beliefs, things that hold you back, things that label you, things that put you in a certain category, right? When you're able to kind of put that aside, overlook those things, then you get to realize that we're all human beings at the end of the day, and we all have that to, kind of unify each other and kind of see past those superficial differences, which really aren't differences at all. Because if you want to, I've talked about this before. If you want to, politics can, politics are politics, right? It is a device to create division, separation amongst the people. But if you look at something like a schoolyard football game, we won't say hockey because we don't do hockey on this channel. Hockey sucks. I'm sorry for anybody out there that disagrees. Hockey does suck unless it's air hockey. But if you're out there on that football field, right? Good American sport, good American pastime, then you know you are, because of the team that you're on, there's an invisible line. You're competing against another team, and at the end of the day, just like most of the players that you see on TV, all your favorite players, you're rooting for one side or the other. They're doing battle. Soon as the game is over, those guys go out for drinks and go hang out and have a great time, right? So it just shows you that at the end of the day, the goal that we want to achieve is attainable. It's definitely attainable. And I'm going to do what I can every single day, every single show, to kind of make sure that that's realized, that we can realize that vision. A lot of people say pie in the sky and say, hey man, that's a a huge, a long shot, a monumentous, task to take on. And I probably won't be able to do it all by myself. I'm quite sure I won't be able to. So it'll take other like-minded individuals like yourself to get to go out there in that community and kind of, open up some minds, right? That's what this is all about at the end of the day. Can we move the needle? Can we open some minds? And then can we sit down and have that conversation, right? Just like this channel says, ready to join the conversation. Come join the conversation. The talk that keeps you thinking, right? When you leave the show, you should still be thinking. Your mind should still be going. And that's kind of the goal here at the Social Dig. So it's, a lot of you who have been here for a long time know that. But I know we do have some new subscribers that have come on as of recently. And we haven't done this show a whole lot, right? And this is the root show of this channel, this show right here, which is the Social Dig. So you'll be seeing more of this show. It takes a lot to put this show on. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of moving parts. But I have everything loaded in. We're going to give it a spin tonight. This is a show, but also a test run for this particular show. And then we'll be bringing back my experience with the phenomena. I'm trying to book some guests for that. That's a great show. And obviously the UFO, the definitive UFO news show with Mr. Rob G, which we'll be having that as well. And we may do a late night show tonight. I'm still undecided. I do have family coming in town. I have moms is coming in town here tonight. So probably won't be doing a show, but you never know. You never know. She won't be here till like 1, 2 in the morning. So I might hop on for about an hour, do some late night stuff with you guys. Definitely, we are going to get this channel more active, right? We were on a roll, but I had to take a moment, right, the last 4 weeks to get my mind right. You have to do it. You have to do it. We can sit up here as hosts and put on a face and, attempt to be stoic in the way that we approach, talking to the viewers out there. But we're all human beings at the end of the day, and we all have things that we have to attain to and take care of. But I'm just so glad that you guys have understood that and have stuck around during that time, right? But I promised to raise the bar. That's what we're going to do. And let's go a little bit further into the show because, as I said, we're not going to be here too long. I know I want to make sure everybody's out of here for Tim James' show coming up here at 8 p.m. Pacific, so in a little over 30 minutes. So we're going to kind of just rush through this a little bit here today. No biggie. Memberships are available. Become a social soldier today. You can do that by clicking the description down at the bottom of the video. You'll see a link that join be a social soldier. What that does at the moment, it doesn't get you anything additional. What it does do though is it definitely is something that helps this show continue, pay these monthly membership fees and all these things we have to do to put the show on. As long as I have that, I can do this full time for you guys and make sure that we have these conversations. So I definitely I'll shout out the members on the next show. We'll kind of just skip past that tonight. And let's see, what else do we have here? Let me go ahead and take a look at the chat, man, because it's been a while. Haven't been able to talk to everybody directly. Just totally glad to see you guys pop in here. Let's see. Let me see. Super Crazy Movie Geek was saying earlier, should we hope for an alien invasion in 2027? It would be instant disclosure. I'm for it. I'm for it. But here's the thing. We have to make sure that it is understood, that alien invasion could mean just that, which would be a malevolent presence. Malevolent. Did I say that right? I don't think I did. Malevolent presence. A lot of people out there believe these extraterrestrials are here for love and light. I am not in that boat. I don't believe that, with all the activity that we've had, a lot of different examples, we understand, as far as we know, we're dealing with more than one species of extraterrestrial. So can you say all the species that we're dealing with are benevolent? Probably can't. So you have to assume, or at least prepare for the opposite. Although I hope they land here and they just love us and want to help us out and help us ascend. That's the natural thing that we want them to do, but it's not guaranteed, guys. So as long as we, if it happens, and I'm a guy that hates dates, I don't like throwing dates out there and saying this is going to happen on this date. But if 2027 is a thing, I've heard this before, then I think just the best thing we can do as humanity is simply be prepared. You got to be prepared, right? Either way it goes. Be prepared to love these things or be prepared to protect your family. And that, I don't know how much realer you can be about a situation like that. You want to protect, those that you love, but then you also have to make them aware of how serious this could be. It's serious regardless, but as far as, it potentially having an unintended, maybe negative impact on what we do on a day-to-day is bound to happen. We got to get through that rough patch in order to get where we're going. So, that's just a part of doing what we do here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop in a little bit more. I want to see who else is in here. Flat Six said good evening to all. Good evening to Flat Six. Saw you there, Tim James. I got you. Let's see if anybody just had anything they were pointing out. Let's see. Flat Six. Tim James. Cue up track 1 on Rocks. Back in the saddle. Rob G's back on the mic like a chainsaw juggler with the score to settle. And that's a fact. You couldn't have really even painted it any better than that, Flat Six. That is awesome. And that's true. That's true. It's no surrender, no prisoners. We're taking no prisoners. Let's see. Operation Shutdown came in and said, "Hello, Mr. Rob G. I'm here to find out that UFO plan." Yeah, things. I think it'll be a little eye opening what we look at today here. So we'll definitely be taking a look here. Let me just see if anybody else had pointed anything out before we get started. Magneticus. Why does NHI remind me of the movie 50 First Dates? I don't think I've seen 50 First Dates. I know what the movie is, but I don't think I've ever watched it. So maybe I'll watch it and then I'll be able to put that together. Appreciate you, Magneticus. Let's see. Fast Hemi said, "I'll be listening on the ride home. Gotta love Bluetooth adapters for older cars." Yeah. Car I'm riding right now is a 2004 Crown Victoria, which is a beautiful car. Top of the class. If you guys are looking for a car out there, a used car that will probably last you another 10, 15, 20 years. Crown Victoria. Let's see who else is out here. Let me see. Okay. All right. Looks like we are current. All right. Yeah. So I just had some. I was watching a video, and it was Tim Pool. Like I said earlier, forget political views. That doesn't matter here right now. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some video clips parts of the video that I thought were pretty interesting. He had actually. I was intrigued because there was multiple episodes Tim Pool had that I'll just have to give it to him because anyone that's willing to have this conversation on the big stage, you gotta applaud him for it. You gotta give them the flowers and let them know how important it was to do that, right? So that's what we're gonna do. And he had Representative Burleson on there from the Oversight Committee, and it was just more eye opening especially from Burleson's point of view, being that we only usually get official statements after a hearing, after a skiff, you know, political speak usually, not really like heartfelt, this is how I feel sort of situation from Burleson. And I think, you know, he kind of displayed that he was on actually multiple interviews with Tim Pool. So, and I did see him say that he also has a podcast out there that he's doing with a couple of other Congress people. So I think that's awesome too. The more the conversation gets out there, like we haven't had any huge events this year since the drone situation earlier this year, but you know, there is still movement, and I'm glad to see that. On another video, I'll be talking about Skywatcher and how I feel about that. I think I'll do that tomorrow afternoon on the Definitive UFO News Show. We'll talk about Skywalker and some of the other developments that have happened. But tonight we will be taking a look at this here. So let me go ahead and get in here. So I did talk about memberships, which they are still available. So getting into the show. We don't have much time here, so we were going to look at some things that I had pinned for UFO Twitter. We will skip that. We will talk about more hearings because apparently there are more hearings potentially on the way here. And I definitely want to make sure that we talk about that. So let me bring up the article that I have for that. I appreciate everyone being patient here. All right, so this is something that I picked up on Defense Scoop. And let me go ahead and read this here. So this is new UAP legislation in the works as Congress prepares for more hearings. And obviously some of this news is a little older, but we've been away for a few weeks, so we'll be catching up. Lawmakers are drafting new legislative proposals and preparing to host 2 new hearings as part of their ongoing campaign to enhance the U.S. government's investigations into reports of unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, that are increasingly threatening national security, according to 3 House Republicans involved in what they referred to as bipartisan bicameral efforts. The Congress members are looking to institutionalize more accountability and disclosure from federal agencies on the historically taboo topic. This is not, quote, this is not a one time thing. It's clear this is not a one time data dump. This is a systematic change to process in the way that we are transparent with the American people and with what we are working on legislation that will put that into practice. Rep. Eric Burleson said Thursday. Burleson, also, as well as Reps Anna Luna and Tim Burchett, unveiled those plans during a multi session congressional briefing on understanding UAP, science, national security, and innovation, hosted on Capitol Hill by the UAP Disclosure Fund in collaboration with the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability. There, the Congress members heard presentations and participated in open table discussions from a range of high profile scientists and former government officials, including Harvard University professor Dr. Avi Loeb, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence Christopher Mellon, and former oceanographer of the Navy, retired Admiral Tim Gallaudet. Quote, I've spoken to U.S. military personnel that are still in active duty, and their sightings of UAP have become so numerous that they desensitize to the phenomena. My point being that the Navy possesses a trove of video evidence and data regarding UAP, and I see no reason why certain footage on UAP on Navy training ranges cannot be declassified and shared with scientific community, Gallaudet said. At various points during the hours-long event, the lawmakers expressed aims to continue to build momentum for UAP transparency in the U.S. government, including via 2 upcoming congressional hearings, Luna announced. That's awesome. Glad to hear that. One is going to be government focused. We're asking various appointees. I don't want to release names yet, but we have been getting good responses from them and will make those names known soon, as well as military and former military that will be coming forward, Luna said. Also, I want to note that we were told by one of Mr. Burles's staffers that's helping us to lead up this investigation about someone that wants to come forward in regards to a crash retrieval program. So that's pretty interesting to hear someone going on the record about that, she added. On the sidelines of the event, Burchett told Defense Scoop that the committee will continue to host briefings with the UAP Disclosure Fund and other advocates to raise awareness, gain insights from experts, and inform future policies, moves, or legislation. Quote, we're just going to get more support and maybe make the legislation more precise and concise, and I think that's going to help a lot, Burchett said. So, what do you think about that? What do I think about that? I think it's actually pretty awesome that there are still things going on in the government. You have to still have that 10-foot stick, because you can't let them woo you in with new endeavors in regards to the UFO topic, because probably more than 99.9% of the time, it doesn't usually lead anywhere substantial, historically speaking, right? We can't speak for the future, but based off historical dealings, none of these things usually go too far. So you kind of got to still stay in our lane of disclosure and doing the things we need to attain disclosure, and hope that they do these things that they're saying, hope that these new committees and things are actually going to benefit something, because then that's the cherry on top, right? They say set your expectations low, and you won't be disappointed. You set them too high, you'll be disappointed every time. And there's a lot of people out there that unfortunately do that for whatever reason. They set that bar way too high, those expectations, coming into anything to do with the government and UFOs, and always come back saying things like nothing burger, or, oh, this is a bunch of nothing. But that's when I still look through the silver lining, because even in those moments, there's still things that are being said that you should be paying attention to and that you should put some value onto. And they usually do that without even trying. They do it accidentally, I feel, in most cases. But that is actually pretty cool. This is actually a story from May the 1st, I believe. It's May the 1st of this year. So, like I said, we're behind a little bit. We'll be catching up as we bring these shows up to speed. But I thought that was awesome. And the fact that Burleson is actually one of the main people being spoken to in this article, because the videos that we're about to check out are actually have a lot to do or directly are related to Representative Burleson. So I forgot to play the news, but I'll go ahead and play the news to get us out of here like that. Here we go. All right, jumping into the show. What's the plan? The current UFO scene, and I just told you a moment ago. This is more about what the plan is, maybe coming from their end, because as I said, we're about to see it. And maybe you've seen this. Maybe we're coming to this later than most channels have actually covered this, but we have, like I said, some insight just into the mind of Burchett. And this first video, this is once again the Tim Pool podcast. I'll end up linking this in the description of this video. But I want to go ahead and play the first clip that I thought was pretty cool. And this is Burleson talking about an experience that he had. And I've also said that there's been more and more, it seems like, people on the government side of this, especially when you get them individually. When they're in a group, they usually don't talk about this stuff. But when you get them individually, and then they have time, a moment to be human for a moment, then you get these sort of things out of them. And I've always said, I think we'll find out at the end of the day that there's going to be more and more individuals within the government that have had some sort of experience, whether it be paranormal, whether it be related directly to the UFO phenomena, but something strange, right? And I think maybe if we get them individually to admit what they have gone through, then collectively, it'll hopefully help efforts on the government side when they're in those back rooms, in those skiffs, and having those conversations. When you have a skiff full of people that have individually admitted that they've had some sort of experience, well, then what do we have? What type of meeting are we in now? Right? And so maybe that's the future that we can look at with the government. But I thought this was pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Here we go.
Story. I was driving to a donor meeting and was in my car and suddenly I had like this weird sensation. It was almost like a something wafted air really quickly past me while I was in a vehicle, and I heard distinctly, it wasn't like a voice, like a human voice, but it was clear. Like I recognized it as a message that said, say yes. So I go into this donor meeting and I'm supposed to ask for a contribution. We end up talking about stuff. And the individual said, he's like, you know more about my topic than a lot of the people that I work with in the finance industry. And he said, I came here to write you a check, but I'd rather just see if you want to be a partner, honestly, after our conversation. And I just, at that moment, it was like, holy cow.
Say yes.
I'm supposed to be the one saying yes. I mean, normally you go and I was supposed to ask him for money. He's supposed to say yes instead. And so I felt like that was a radical move, like, career change. But that's my personal experience. Yeah, it's a weird story. I was driving to a donor meeting.
All right. So, an awesome admittal, I think, coming from Representative Burleson. I personally have never heard him speak about having any sort of interaction with, and I think he went on further to say that he felt like the voice that he heard or that was talking through him was more of a divine sort of voice, because a gentleman, I forget who it was on the show, was making a point that, maybe we're in this 2D, like if you look at a Pac-Man screen, and, if you talk at Pac-Man, if he were able to feel the reverberation from your voice, that it would reverberate in a way that it doesn't dictate any sort of specific direction. And so they were comparing it to Representative Burleson's experience there, but he did go on to say that he felt that it was more of a divine sort of situation where, hey, depending on how you look at it, that's what a lot of religious individuals feel, that it's not extraterrestrial, it's something related to religion, whether it's God or whether it's angels or demons, whatever terms they want to use. I think the point to take away is that something that wasn't in a human form communicated with Burleson. Kudos for that man for stepping out and admitting that, because obviously, until it is widely more accepted, then when he leaves that podcast, he's going to, face the ridicule that most experiencers face anyway, right? So awesome for him doing that. Hope to see that a lot more. And we do have, let me see. I know I have this one here. This kind of painted a picture too, as far as what these representatives, even though they give their speech after a skiff or in front of cameras, in front of national media, where they're attempting to ride a line, not discount, but then not fully dive into UFOs being a thing. It was eye-opening, I would say, to hear Representative Burleson say this. We'll check it out.
Remains of these, like when they say non-human entities or biologics, do you think we have in our possession?
I definitely think there was a crash retrieval program. Mm-hmm. What they picked up, whether it was, adversaries or us, our military experimental stuff. What one of the recent whistleblowers that came out, Jake Barber, said that he was part of the crash retrieval program, and that 95% of what they picked up was clearly, just either drones or whatever.
Right.
But then they had a few incidents where they picked up something that he said was non-human intelligence. But what I will say is, in my pursuit in trying to get to the bottom of all this, I've yet to have anybody show me anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to look. I think that people can have their personal perspective, and if they want to testify, I'm not doubting that anybody's wrong. I'm just saying, you can say that you had that experience and that you saw that, but I didn't, and I'm not going to just believe it.
What would it take, do you think, to prove to you that there is something?
I'll have to see it.
So, and he went on after that. I don't know if you heard that at the end, but he said, what would require for proof of you? And he was like, I have to see it, right? Which is another thing that we talk about, receipts. Regardless on I'll use myself, for example. I've had a sighting, 47 objects, undeniable. Am I satisfied with that? No. I could show that to everybody in the world. Maybe they'll agree, maybe they'll disagree. You guys have all seen the video. But I think it's still incumbent on everyone to capture data, period. If you go outside, especially if you go looking for the phenomena, you should have something to record the experience on. Disclosure is a personal thing. We've talked about this before, but at the same time, I have a friend, Mateo. If he's out there, and hopefully I'll have him on here soon, come back and talk with me. I know you guys would like that, but he has never had an experience his entire life. He's fully into the subject, never had an experience. So those individuals who are in that particular boat, who are within the community but have not had an experience, that's all they want, is to know what it feels like to have that experience. And they may go their entire lifetime without having it. And so it's incumbent on someone who frequently encounters the phenomena or who has recorded data on the phenomena to be able to share that with my friend Mateo. And for others out there who are in that same boat. That's why you have to capture data. You cannot stop capturing data. You have to continue. Even if you have personally had 1 million sightings, you should, until we know what's going on, until we can figure out what specifically this is, and get reasoning on why this is all happening, data needs to be recorded every step of the way. Every step of the way. So don't for one moment feel like your data won't be good enough. You can catch a light just blink in the sky, and most people say, oh, that's just nothing. But it's more than nothing. It's definitely something. In that little blink, you still should submit that, because that could correlate to someone else's something and be that little piece that they needed. So make sure that you capture data. I don't fault Rep Burleson for wanting to see proof. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. And I think speaking more to that, we have to be more comfortable with allowing skeptics in on the conversation. Skeptics are going to challenge you directly on something that you may have said. You have to be open to that. You have to be open to taking your talking points into a skeptic crowd and not being afraid to sit in front of maybe a room of all skeptics and talk about your experience. That has to be overcome. That's one thing within this community we have to overcome, is being afraid to sit in front of skeptics and bring our data to the table. Let's move on. All right. This one, a lot of people have said this, so it was kind of shocking to hear him say this. I will say, I don't know how. I'll tell you how I feel about it afterwards. But you'll see what I mean here. Let's check it out.
About these Tic Tacs and drones and these sightings, and I was saying, it's probably U.S. military technology they're not disclosing. How insane would it be for the U.S. to be like, by the way, here's the latest weapon we've developed. It can fly and move through space and time. However, in the article, it said the sightings were 70 miles away from a naval research base for advanced aeronautics or whatever. And I was like, are we stupid? Come on. Like, the U.S. So not all of it, but I think one of the stories, one of the explanations we get often is that the U.S. government likes the narrative of aliens because it does two things. It throws people off the scent of the weapons tech they're developing, but it's also terrifying to our adversaries if they do believe that aliens have allied with us and have given us advanced tech.
Yes, I've heard that too. And there's moments where in this journey, I have come to that conclusion. But then there's also moments where, so for example, one individual, I've had two people come to me that say that the Tic Tac is a is a Lockheed Martin creation. The latest person that came to me says he has video of the first, second, and third iteration of the Tic Tac, and he's going to show me. So I'm trying to set that up. The way he describes it is that they had a prototype, they've made changes to it, they've made it more advanced, and then now it's in iteration number 3, which I did see a photo of, and it looks like pretty advanced military like craft, like a plane, but it's clearly human made. It's nothing that I've ever seen, our military has, but his claim is that they have discovered a propulsion that's a new type of propulsion. They used it in the first iteration, which was the Tic Tac. They have an intermediary one that they are more advanced with, and then now they're putting it inside of what looks conventional, so that it's not obvious.
Disguise.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're saying eventually the tech makes its way into things that we're already familiar with.
Well,
Right.
but I thought you were explaining that if someone were to see it, they'd say it's a plane.
Right. They would say that's a military plane.
Okay, interesting perspective. I thought about that. It doesn't make sense why they would expose the Tic Tac on its own for some time if it was Black Project or government tech, and then later on down the line dress it up. Like we've heard of, them doing that with previous Black projects that have come out. The previous iteration of some fighter jet will be the framework. However, the internals are the newer tech. We've heard that before. I don't know if that fits with the Tic Tac. Now, Burleson says he was shown some photographs that showed something that appeared to be a Tic Tac, but also appeared to be completely man-made. A lot of people out there, I won't say a lot. There's been a good handful of people that I've talked to that feel like the Tic Tac is man-made. I don't get it. I don't see it. And I don't know where in our history of Black projects being released, as we've talked about on this channel before, does it even show a connection? Any implementation of any newer tech, any that we have not previously used already. I just don't see it, but I'm open to it. And if he's able to provide something, if something comes out about that, I'd be willing to look at it. And let's get to this was more of the shocker. I'm going to play this whole clip, and then I want to see if you guys catch what was said here. And this is in regards to the Las Vegas aliens.
A video and look at whether or not there is an artificial
Just real quick, they CGI'd an alien and it's going.
We got it, right?
artifact added to it or not. And in this case, we can definitively say, to a degree of scientific certainty, that this entity, this thing in the video, is there in the physical reality in which the Kenmore family is also there. Like, this is so critical.
Yeah, I remember this
because
one.
You can clearly see through the slots in the fence that there is a leg motion moving from the right to the left side of the screen. And clearly it is behind.
Some dude was in Vegas for NBA trials and he got in the wrong yard and now they're calling him an alien.
Behind there.
Classic.
So this isn't just like a head floating in space. This is a head of that is somehow that does not have full opacity, that the opacity of the head of the shadow is only at about 33% opacity versus a normal shadow, which would be at 100% opacity, or an object in the screen, which is at 100%. And this isn't anything that you did. It's just what you were able to determine.
Yo.
I mean, it makes you wonder, like, you watch that video and you see the blur there. First of all, I gotta say, I mean, when this stuff happens, I have such, like, I guess, consumer fatigue with it. With, like, everybody sends me stuff. I usually wait till, like, the 10th person in a day sends me stuff. I'm like, okay, I better look at this one. And that's when I start picking this up. And when you see that blur, they're walking by, that it kind of puts into this woo-woo side of it where it's like, why are they walking by and they're unable to see what is captured on camera?
Apparently, as of 1 month ago, the 2 responding officers have been on paid leave ever since and haven't returned to work.
That's interesting. And there's also, I can't remember the details, but there's something going on with the family as well. One of my contacts was trying to get me connected to their lawyer, but they lawyered up, and I was trying to get communication with them, and that never unfolded. But there's things on the outside of the story, like Tim just mentioned, that really makes you like, well, why is that? Why are they on? Did something happen to them? Did they see something that they're,
Right.
you know, I don't know.
They hurt mentally, like
Exactly, because
All right. So with that being said, did you pick that up? Did you catch what he said there? He said that the 2 officers that responded to the Las Vegas alien to the scene have been on paid leave ever since that happened. As of being, I guess the last check was a month ago. As of a month ago, the 2 officers that responded to the Las Vegas alien scene have been on paid leave. How is there a coincidence there that just so happens the 2 officers that went to the scene never returned back to work? Why? We also heard at the time this is going on that there were black SUVs, which could be obviously anyone, but could also be the government. There were cameras that were put up. All sorts of things, weird things were being done around the Las Vegas ET case. A lot of people threw it out. I played a video where it showed something in the forklift. We don't know what it was. It did align with what the 911 call was, and that was compelling enough on its own. But now to know and to find out that the 2 officers that were dispatched to that scene have not been back to work, have been on paid leave since that day. That was, when was that? 2 years ago. Really? There's definitely more worth looking into as far as that goes. I'm going to do what I can to try to uncover what I can about that. And if anyone else out there, please do. That is definitely a rabbit hole to jump down. I don't see, coincidentally, maybe one of them by coincidence, but both of them doesn't make sense. So I wanted to point that out because I thought that was probably the most compelling part of this conversation here tonight. And I'm not going to hold you too long because I know Tim is starting their show over there, Spaced Out Radio. I want to make sure everybody gets there. So we're going to go ahead and do something that we haven't done in a while as we get ready to get up out of here. And that is to jump into one of our other segments here, which I'll go ahead and get this set up. I think you guys will know Magneticus hates this music. Magneticus hates this music. However, here we are. Here we are. This is just for you, Magneticus. As we go into Once Upon a Time. And I want to make sure we got the right slide up here for that. Once Upon a Time in Ufology. This is a segment where we go ahead and take a look back in history as far as some of the things that have happened historically. We do this once a show on the Social Dig. And the Hopkinsville, Kentucky extraterrestrial is going to be what we actually take a look at here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, the Hopkinsville ET, 1955. On the evening of August 21st, 1955, the Sutton family and a friend, Billy Ray Taylor, reported a strange and terrifying experience after Taylor claimed to see a flying saucer land behind the house. The Suttons, armed and skeptical, braced for trouble. What followed was an hours-long siege by strange beings described as small, about 3 feet tall, glowing, which I think is a big thing, glowing eyes, clawed hands, spindly limbs, and large ears, which is something we'll talk about later. The creatures reportedly floated or glided rather than walked and were impervious to bullets fired at close range. They appeared at windows and doorways, provoking gunfire and panic. The family eventually fled to the Hopkinsville Police Department. Clearly stressed, multiple law enforcement officers returned to the farmhouse, but found no creatures, only bullet holes, no torn screens, and an eerily quiet night. So with that being said, that is the Hopkinsville ET. You can look a little bit further into that. This is for all the new people that come into ufology, may have been hearing this story for the very first time. Definitely compelling. We'll talk more about that on another show as we go ahead and get ready to jump into our last segment. Science fiction, the science fact movie edition. In that movie, we're going to go with the movie Interstellar, which is a science fact movie of the week. Interstellar goes a little something like this. In the near future, Earth ravaged by an environmental collapse and dwindling resources, former NASA pilot Cooper is recruited for a daring mission to save humanity. A mysterious wormhole near Saturn offers a chance to explore distant planets in search of a new home. Leaving behind his daughters, Murphy Cooper joins a team of astronauts as they journey through space and time, confronted by black holes, the relativity of time, and the limits of human endurance. As Earth struggles to survive, Murphy grows up to become a brilliant scientist racing against time to solve the gravity equation that could save the population. The story unfolds across galaxies and generations, revealing deep bond between a father and a daughter and the power of love to transcend dimensions. That is our science fiction, science facts movie of the week. At this point in time, it is time to get ready to go. I did say this would be a quick show, and that's exactly what it is. We're going to make sure that you guys get out of here on time and get out to the other show here. So let me go ahead and get us with our take-home music. It has been a pleasure being able to jump right back in the saddle again with you guys right here on the Social Dig. This has been awesome. I want to make sure we definitely take a look at a couple things here before we go. Coming soon, Social Bits. We have released one video. We'll be doing more soon. More short-form content coming for Social Bits. Keep an eye out for that right here on this channel. Also, the shows that we have here, the show you're at right now, which is The Social Dig, normally on Wednesdays, but we're doing a Friday Night Live tonight. Also, my experience with the phenomenon, which is Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific. Also, the late night call-in show, Saturdays at 11:30 p.m. Pacific, and we may run one tonight. Just keep an eye out. That's what you got to do. Hit the notification bell. Also, hit the subscribe if you're here for the first time. It has been a pleasure sitting here with you guys tonight, getting back in saddle, kicking off the cobwebs. Remember, you can become a social soldier today. All you got to do is click the description, the link in the description, and we'll be ready to get you all signed up. It helps support the show. It just helps the wheels move around right here at the Social Dig. And we appreciate you. We also have a social shop. You should be able to find that as well on the YouTube page. And you can get some super social swag right there anytime. Also, Cash App is the best way to go ahead and help fund the show. You can do that $, Mr. Rob G. Any support goes to helping produce the show and just make this a better experience. Like I always say, guys, it has been a super pleasure hanging out with you guys and doing what we do here. I'm totally glad to have you as viewers and hope to see you back here soon. Not holding you for too much longer. What I will do is thank everybody who came in tonight. Magneticus, see if I can get through everybody real quick here. Fast Timmy, thanks for coming in. UFO Tim James, I know you're out of here already. Thanks for coming in. You got a show to do. Thirsty, thanks for showing on up here. We will be back. Don't worry about it. We will be back. Who else has come on in? We did have Frankie B in here as well. Frankie B. Let's see. Fast Hemi. Operation Shutdown. Thank you for showing up. Kitty Cattywhack, thanks for coming on in. Appreciate you as well. Super Crazy Movie Geek, thanks for showing up. Polly Rotterman as well. Appreciate you guys. It's been awesome. I'm Mr. Rob G. This is the Social Dig. We will be back doing more shows here. Keep an eye out. Keep a lookout. I'll be seeing you soon. We're going to run the t-shirt commercial, and then I'm going to get you guys right up out of here. Have a great rest of your night, guys. Much love. Take care. We will talk soon. Welcome to the Social Shop, courtesy of the Social Dig. I am Mr. Rob G, and we are bringing you exclusive gear, and tonight's no different. We have Humanity t-shirts, the positive progression of humanity. Yes, you can go out into the world and proudly show everyone what humanity means to you. $32.99. And remember, if you're a social soldier, you get an additional 20% off the price. That's right. Being a social soldier gets you an additional 20% off. And keep in mind, depending where you are in the world, shipping fees and taxes will be applied. Bringing you exclusive gear right here at the Social Shop on the Social Dig.